Alright everybody, so I am back with another Scandal review. My last review I wasn't very enthusiastic because I wasn't really feeling the episode, and when I reviewed the video I did on the episode, I was like, actually should have said not said a lot more, but I gave it a higher rating than I should have. But anyway, so I'm talking about 507, Even the Devil Deserves a Second Chance. And so we're just going to start off. So we start off with Fitz. He's coming out to talk to the podium and give a public statement. And he's saying how he's sorry for all the trouble that this impeachment process has caused to his family and to other Americans. And basically he's acting like humbled by it or whatever. And the public is buying it. They're like, yeah, he's humbled by it. But we cut to the next scene where he's having like a party and he's gloating. So Liv walks in after his little speech, after his little toast. And Abby meets her and she's like, you know, you did something to end the impeachment process. And she's like, I don't want to lie to you, don't make me. And she goes to Fitz and she assumes that Fitz is angry with her, but he's not, because he's being understanding. He's like, well, you know, this is not how we wanted to get married or whatever. I understand that. So he's not giving her any flack about that. And she's kind of surprised. And then they do some cutesy couple stuff in the corner or whatever. And at this point, I'm not really upset with Liv, not really yet, because of course I'm thinking she can't tell him the truth in front of all of these people. So at this point, I'm just like, yeah, okay. So then we cut to David and Susan. They're talking at the party, and it seemed like they were flirting, or it seemed like Susan was flirting. There seemed like some flirting there, and I was like, ooh, but yeah. And then we cut to Cyrus comes in and tells Fitz it's an emergency, and then Abby comes over, and then he's telling him about the fact that Rowan escaped, and Fitz is surprised, and then Liv starts inching closer to where they're talking about, and Abby calls Fitz's attention to Liv, and then she comes up and she's like, my father escaped, he's out, and she's acting like she doesn't know, and I'm like, well, I'm like, I want to be mad, but then I wasn't like really all the way there, because again, they were at a party, like a public place, so I was like, this is not the time to tell him. So then we cut to Liv going home, and it's like dark in there, and she's like, Dad, because she like feels the presence there or whatever, and I'm assuming her dad's there too. And no, it's Jake. And then so I'm like, why is he just busted in her place waiting for her? I'm like, that's really inappropriate. But their whole relationship is inappropriate in the first place, so I don't even know why I would be surprised. And then she's like, what are you doing here? Like, she's like, whoa, why are you here when I'm not here? And he's like drinking her wine and stuff, and then he's like yelling at her to sit down or whatever. And then she's like, you're drunk and you're mad. And then he's like, she's like, I think you should go. And he's telling her that Rowan killed Elise, and it's all her fault because she let Rowan out. And he's also saying, I'm tired of being our father's son. And that kind of stuck out. And then she kind of made like a, what? I'm tired of being our father's son. Like, whoa, that sounds so bad. Like, it already sounds incestual. Like, even though that's not her real brother, he looks at Rowan like a father, or he did look to Rowan as a father. We knew that in season 4 when him and Russell had that conversation. And so when he said, I'm tired of being our father's son, I'm just like, that sounds so bad. But anyway, so then he's like, he failed with you, and then that's why he made us as like his sons or whatever. I'm not really sure on that part. It was something around there. And then he's like, you have become the exact woman he wanted you to be. And this is Jake's, I guess Jake's turn to relive, I guess his attempt to relive. And he's like, power hungry, what was it, selfish, entitled. I'm not sure on like the other words that he used, but I know for a fact he used power hungry. And like, he's just trying to go in or whatever, and you can tell he's upset. And then he's like, the woman I love killed the woman I was in love with, or the woman I was in love with got to kill the woman I love. He's like, I don't even know. I'm just like, yeah, Jake, I don't know either. Like, what are you doing here? So she yells at him to leave, and then he comes up all in her personal space, and she backs up. And from the promo that we got, I knew he was going to try to kiss her. I didn't know if it was like going to go all the way. So he kisses her. I know that his lips touched hers. I know he like touched, like tried to inch her face up. I know for a fact that she didn't push him away or slap him or anything, which was the response I was expecting, given that he's kissing you and you guys are not together. Especially considering the fact that he was just like yelling at you and he was in your apartment without you being there. But, and so, then he leaves. I mean, y'all know I didn't like this scene. I mean, I get so tired of Jake doing something that is just... So, then we cut to Liv sitting in the Oval Office, like doing some type of paperwork or whatever. So Cyrus walks in, telling Fitz how to rebuild his image, but Fitz already has a plan. And basically at this point, Cyrus is pretty useless. I mean, he just walked to the screen, but he's giving out a plan, and Fitz is like, no. So he's kind of like serving no purpose right now. And then so Cyrus is like sitting there. He says hi to Olivia, and you can kind of see on his face that he's not really feeling her being there. And then so she gets a message that she has a client, and she's surprised that she has a client, and then she leaves. And then so we have Abby, and she's with the honorees in the hallway. Well, the guy who's about to get honored, and his wife, and she's saying how his book and stuff helped her get out of her abusive marriage and all this stuff, and she wants to autograph the book or whatever. And so then we have Liv walks into OPA. Huck approaches her about letting Rowan go, and then Liv, and it cuts to Liv and her client. And I was so excited that Liv had a client this episode, because I was kind of missing the whole OPA cases type thing. So yeah, she had a client, and the client needs Liv to tell Fitz about her rape, because Frank, who was about to be honored, is the guy she says raped her. And so I thought it was kind of interesting that Quinn was like, she's the president's girlfriend. The White House is always our client. When Liv was leaving, I was like, I guess that's kind of true. And then so we have Liz and Abby. Liz meets up with Abby, and then Liz tells Abby that she's going to go to Sally, Lovers of Liberty, and she's going to tell Sally, like, whatever Sally wants to know, some of the secrets or whatever. And Abby's like, you can't do that. And then Liz was like, I won't do that if you get me a job back in the White House or whatever. And then Abby, I don't know exactly what Abby said to that, but it ended up that Abby wasn't going to get her a job at the White House. And so Liz was like, okay, well, guess I got to go to Sally. And then I thought it was funny because as Abby was walking off, she took the book back from Liz that she got for her, like an autograph book. She took it back out. But so it's like a Liv and Fitz scene in the Oval. Like, Liv was in the Oval a lot this episode, but there's a Liv and Fitz scene in the Oval again, and then she's about to leave, and then Jake comes in, and he's in his suit or whatever, and Fitz is asking Jake to be on Rowan. I was like, okay, alright. Didn't we spend season 4 giving Jake a storyline of finding and killing Rowan? Like, he didn't succeed in season 4. And yes, we can say he was trying to help Liv after she was kidnapped, so he like pushed that to the back of his mind and wasn't really trying to kill him. But either way, he didn't succeed in what he was trying to do. So we're going to give him this job again. Okay, alright. But you know, I already know that when Rowan comes back onto the screen as like this power player, or is he even a power player anymore from the next promo? I don't know. But when he comes back into the screen, then Jake awakens as some type of assassin they're trying to make him out to be. I didn't kill Rowan in the first place, but now they're giving him that storyline again. So I thought that whole scene was really funny. It was a really tense scene because Liv is looking at Jake like, Like, there's a huge elephant in the room. Like, Liv is looking at Jake, like, because Jake knows that she released Rowan. And then Fitz is sitting there clueless. And I'm like, oh my god, he's clueless again. Like, this man is always clueless. Like, I just don't understand. And so, he's the president of the United States, yet he's always clueless on what's happening right under his nose. Like, I just, whatever. So, yeah, we had that scene, and that scene was such an awkward scene. And then Liv was like, if you have anything to say, because Fitz was like, I like us to just talk. She was like, if you have anything to say about my father, you can say it in front of me. And I guess she was trying to, I don't know what she was trying to, maybe make sure Jake wasn't going to say anything. And then he tells her, like, to her face that he's going to look Papa in the eye and shoot him and kill him. So then she's looking like she's heard it before. We've all heard it before. And we have Abby and Cyrus, and they're talking about Lizzie. And basically Cyrus doesn't want to tell Fitz about Lizzie because he thinks Liv is running the Oval. And so he has David summon Lizzie, and David gets stern with her. And I was like, oh, for a second David has his balls back, because I don't know how long it's been since David's balls have been snipped. I don't even know, but he's been this punk like for a while now. But anyway, so then we cut to Liv and Quinn questioning the rapist, or Frank, who's supposed to be the rapist, and his wife seemed off to me. Like, I was like, well, she has to be a part of it. But, the client forgot to tell her that she was like cheating on her papers or whatever, and then Frank told Liv about that or something like that. And then Liv does this whole monologue where she's telling the client about how it's wrong for her to be omitting truths. And I was like, isn't this the pot calling the kettle black? And then, so the David and Lizzie meeting is David trying to stop Lizzie from going to Sally. And so David tells her that he knows about the leaking of the tape. And then Lizzie goes, I know you're a good person and you're just doing the bidding for Cyrus. And then she calls him a Weasley troll that she doesn't like or respect. Not Cyrus, but David. And then we have where we find out that Frank's wife is part of it. And she goes, young women throw themselves at their professors all the time. And I called it from jump. I mean, it seemed like she was part of it. I was like, okay, this is kind of predictable. And so, so basically, he was using her medicine to drug his students, and then he was raping them, and then yeah, that's basically what it was. And then so it's a Liv and Cy and Fitz Oval scene, and Cy tells Fitz one thing, and then about Lizzie, like saying you need to go stop her and kiss her butt, and then he leaves the office, and then Liv tells him another thing and says let Lizzie go. And then Liz goes up onto the Liberty Report and says good things about Fitz, which surprises everyone. And then Cyrus finds out that Fitz gave Liv a job as Susan's chief of staff. That was the plan that him and Liv came up with. And then so we have a David and Lizzie scene. In this whole scene, I was like screaming, no, please don't do this to me. Like, I do not need David having feelings for Lizzie out of all people. Like, I'd rather him and Abby get back together than him have feelings for Lizzie. Like, anyway, it happened. I'm calling it right now. I have a prediction. Lizzie does not like David, and I think she's going to be using him or using his position for her benefit. That's just what I think, because she doesn't like David. I mean, come on, she was disrespecting him. I don't think she was disrespecting him because she likes him. No, she was disrespecting him because she just doesn't like him. So I think that's what it is. Oh, and Susan, when they were in the office, and when Lizzie was lifting up her skirt and everything for David, and I was just like, no. Susan walks in, and she's waiting in the little area for David to finish, because his secretary tells her that he's in a meeting, and she's waiting. She has wine coolers, and then she's like, oh man, I'm gonna go. No, I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna go. No, I'm gonna wait. And then she just decides to leave and leaves the wine coolers with the secretary for David. I thought that she was going to see like something, but she ended up leaving, so she doesn't know. And I think it's kind of funny because Lizzie is now her chief of staff, and Lizzie is sleeping with David, and Susan likes David, I assume. That's just a mess in itself. And then so we have Cy and Liv. She's leaving the White House to go back to OPA, and then he's basically talking to her like he hates the idea of Liv taking his place. He's like, I'm now the man working behind the woman that's behind the man. He says Liv is actually the president, and she staged the best coup in presidential history, and no one's the wiser. And he says that Fitz does whatever you say. And then so she's like, this is how relationships work. This is what couples do. And I was like, really, Liv? You're keeping information from Fitz, and you're going behind his back. Yet you're telling Sai how relationships work. She goes back to the Oval, and Fitz tells her that her father, they can't find her father. He's sorry for that. And then she gets a drink, and it seems like she's about to come clean. That's what I thought she was about to do. I was like, you better come clean. I said, you better come clean. But instead, she advises him on Germany, whatever the issue he was having. And I was like, that's how they end this episode? Like, what? And so basically, my overall thoughts on this episode are, this episode wasn't really an exciting one, not really. The case was predictable, maybe not to others, but it was to me. But I enjoyed having the case this week. I enjoy seeing Liv in the Oval because, I like seeing them work things out together. I put her on my hate side for the last episode. And I really don't want to hate her, but she's like Melly number 2, and I really can't stand that. And if I hate Melly for the way she is, I have to hate Liv for seeming like she's just like Melly. Because we have 2 episodes to the fall finale, and I'm trying to make it to 509 to see if I'm going to continue with the rest of the season. So, and you're going to tell me that Cyrus didn't figure out that Fitz's signature was forged to let Rowan and Tom out? Speaking of Tom, I don't know if I said this in my last review, but I was actually excited to see Tom. Like, I don't mean like jumping out of my seat excited, but I was excited to see him. Tom is cute, but it doesn't erase the fact that he killed Fitz's son. So he's still got to be on my bad side, but I was just excited to see Tom. And I can't sit here and lie and say when he comes back on the screen, like next episode or the episode after that, whenever he comes back, that I won't be like excited to see him, because he's cute and he's a good actor too. Like when he did that scene with Liv, I didn't even know he could act, because you hardly heard him speak, and I was like, ooh. But anyway, so you're telling me Cyrus doesn't know that Fitz's signature was forged, and if he does know, then is he holding on to the information so he can use it at his advantage? Or I'm not really sure, because it doesn't make any sense for him not to know, because there has to be a paper trail, right? I don't know, especially because he's the president, right? And couldn't this get him in trouble? If it's in trouble, if like anybody else found out, like everybody's changing, and like Melly said a few episodes, everybody's changed on me. I guess that's what has to happen in order to develop the story. But when I was thinking of change, I wasn't thinking of, but it's not change, because it seems like Liv is reverting back to things that she's done before, things that didn't work, things that, I don't know, like I used to be big on Team Olivia. Like I obviously love Olitz as a whole, but individually I was really big on Team Olivia. And then last episode I was like, wait, she looks a lot like Melly. But I don't know, I saw the promo for next episode, and Fitz finds out from somebody else. See, that's the one thing. Okay, she did it. We can erase the fact that she did it, but I was really hoping if he was going to find out, it would be from her, because with Defiance, he found out from someone else. And then Melly in the promo is like threatening to tell Fitz what they did. And I'm just like, oh, Melly's back. That's one thing. That's one thing. On the bright side, Melly was not in this episode at all. She was nowhere to be seen. But she has to come back. And then Rowan is saying he's afraid. I'm like, well, Rowan's afraid? Wait, what's going on? This is not going to be no 180 where Rowan decides that he wants to be an actual father to Liv, and he's scared, so he wants to humble himself. No, I am excited to see the reaction that Fitz has to finding out that Liv did it. I am really excited to see that, and I don't think that she should be let off easy, especially because she didn't tell him herself. Like, I just don't like that. Oh, Lazarus one, I'm pretty sure they'll bring that back up again. Come on, like, this whole okay, and then when Huck, like, when she went to OBSA, Huck was like, you know, he's gonna bring back B613. I don't know what she said in response to him, but I was just thinking, I don't know what Roman's gonna do. I just know that he's trouble. He's always been trouble in the show. And if they try to do a 180 with his character, I will not believe it and I will not buy it. I don't think there's any way that his character can actually be good and a positive force on this show. I really don't think so. I just think the writers love Papa, so I don't know. I think that's probably why he's still here, because technically we could have eliminated, like, permanently eliminated Papa a long time ago. But, you know, but when Papa goes, it only makes sense for Jake to go, because Jake came in as a result of Papa. It would make sense for Jake to leave when Papa dies. It would just make sense. I don't know. But that doesn't seem like it's coming anytime soon. We need Liv and Melly either on the same level where they both get to spew hatred at each other, they both get to call each other nasty names, they both get to make threats, or we need Melly down here and Liv up here, because Liv is the main character, so it just makes sense. Oh, why does Olivia still have that apartment? Why is she still, I guess because she doesn't want to live completely with Fitz yet, which I understand, but why does she have that apartment? Why can't she go to like get a different apartment? Because she was kidnapped at that place. She still has that raggedy furniture with the cushion missing. That apartment is raggedy. Well, the apartment's not raggedy, the furniture is raggedy. It just has bad memories. Like, I don't like the fact that she's still there. But yeah, and I want to, I also don't think that Liv knows 100% what she wants. Like, I'm not really sure that she knows yet, which is kind of annoying. Like, do you want a life with Fitz? Like, I don't know if she wants to be in Vermont, but like live in a big house and have kids, you know, have that life. Or are you just here for Netflix and chill? Or no, Gettysburger and chill, beer and chill with Jake. But maybe, I mean, I want to say that she does want, like, she does love Fitz and want a life with Fitz, because she has risked so much already in these past few episodes. But basically the people that like this episode are Susan Ross. I did like Susan this episode. She had a very innocent thing about her. I kind of feel bad for her because she likes David and he's going to be all up in Lizzie's draws now. But OPA, I liked Marcus, Quinn, and Hug. They did their job. They didn't cause any drama. I liked them this episode. I guess I like Fitz this episode. I guess I like Fitz that. And for him not to wonder how this impeachment process suddenly disappeared, it's kind of strange to me. Does he just like go with the flow? He doesn't ask any questions. He never knows anything. Yeah, so those are the only people I liked. The people I hated this episode are always hate Cyrus. He's a backstabbing snake. David, like, I didn't hate David. I just didn't like the fact that he was getting them draws from Lizzie when we all know that Lizzie, she's on my hate list. Abby is on my hate list still because she didn't tell Liv about Lizzie leaking the tapes. I'm sorry. I don't rock with Abby anymore. Oh, and of course the rapist, because he was a rapist. Oh, and his wife too. You can't forget his wife. Like this video. Please like this video. Comment below what you thought. Oh, and last episode when I said I loved Liv's outfit and that little white thing, when I actually looked at it again after I did my review, I realized that the outfit was actually horrible, and she looked like she raided like Rosa Parks or Coretta Scott King's closet. Like, she looked like something straight out of the 50s, like something out of Selma. I don't even know. But yeah, I just wanted to say that because I looked at it, I was like, outfit is actually tragic. Like, she looks like an old lady. But anyway, I will see you guys in my next video. If you have any video ideas, make sure you leave them in the comments. See you later.